really, it's always that voice in the back of my head that says, you're doing too much. But I've been debunking that over the years because that advice, don't be afraid to explore all the levels of your creativity, has really allowed me to evolve into the version of me that I am now, which is somebody that's not afraid to explore.
Welcome everyone, we're back. Or this might be the first one, or the second one, or the third. It don't matter. You're here. You're with us. It's the DNA Talks podcast, and we are really excited because what we like to do is speak to people who have the creative DNA. That means the cells. They have the creative DNA to give you tips, tricks, and their journey in the entertainment industry. And so we are very excited for this guest that we have today. So, hit it, D.
So, we have Kirsten Daniel. Thank you so much for being here today with us. We are so excited to share your time, your space, your energy with us.
And it's a beautiful space. I know you can't see the whole thing, but this girl has good style. I need her for my next apartment to help me pick rugs. I'm just going to send her links to Mayfair, to Wayfair.
We can work that out.
Thank you, because I need your help, sis.
Kirsten Daniel is an ATLian through and through. She's not a Grady baby, but this is a Piedmont baby. Okay. She is also my soror and a member of the illustrious Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Yes.
The sorority talk.
The Reds. Never forget the Reds.
Oh my goodness.
She is a woman that is inspiring to lots of young women and a lot of people in the music industry specifically. They can model their careers after her. She rose from the ranks as an intern for T.I.'s label Grand Hustle, and she has started a lot of different businesses. One we want to highlight today is ATL, and we're super excited that it was named one of Forbes' Black Businesses to Watch.
That's a very big deal, sis. And remember, the ATL is spelled almost like it's French. A-T-A-T-E-L. Wait, hold on. L-A-E-N-N-E. ATL. It's very fancy.
Very
It's very
sophisticated.
fancy.
Yes.
It's sophisticated. But no, thank you for coming. We're excited.
So
Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to be joining you all. DNA.
So let's start from the early days. How did you become an intern for Grand Hustle?
Oh, okay. So graduating college, I tried to figure out what my lane was going to be. I knew mass communications. I knew I was an entertainment girl. You know, I'm like, I'm not science and math. I'm a bit of a creative. I just don't know what bucket my creativity falls in. So I interned for different places. My godfather's son at the time was working with T.I., and I asked him, when I graduate from college, you know, can I come and intern? And he was like, sure. Unfortunately, he tragically passed away in an incident. However, my goddad reached out to Hannah King, and you know, she made good on that word, that Falant.
So your brother still looked out.
He still looked out. He still looked out. So I became an intern, and I'm not gonna say that I never looked back, because you know I took a break and then I went back to it. But it was a great experience. You know, it's been a long journey, a long ride, but I'm so grateful for that experience. You know, just kind of getting started. That was truly on the job training to understand how the business works.
So it was strictly intern, and then how long? And I have another question, but how long did it take from that first day in the door to like, oh, you know, you got to get in touch with her because she's running things over there?
Okay, so I was there for about a little over a year. So it took about 9 months for me to become an assistant. Like Jason Jeter, who I still work with, who I still consider him to be a partner of mine. At the time, Jason's assistant quit or left. And they were like, you're going to be Jason's new assistant. I'm like, oh. And I didn't even really know him because he was traveling so much. This was at the time of the Scream tour. T.I. was the hottest that he's been, you know, so everybody was traveling. So I'm like, well, I want to be an assistant to this person. I don't know him. He's rarely here. And when he is, he's on the phone the entire time, you know. So I had to get in there and figure it out. I had to learn how to understand his mannerisms, the things that he wanted. I had to learn to anticipate his needs. So that also taught me a lot, just like starting to be an assistant for somebody that I didn't have a relationship with, growing that relationship over time has been a good experience. But, it was after 9 months his assistant left, I became the assistant. And, I did that for a while. I left because I'm like, I probably need some corporate experience. So I left and did some marketing somewhere. And
shout out to corporate girls.
Yeah, I left for a few years, came back and worked with Jason solely. And from there, I was able to learn about and work with him on clothing brands. And, they have released the film, learning marketing, marketing agency work. So from there, once I got back, we were able to just like maneuver in a way that allowed me to be more intimate in that relationship, understanding like just being side by side and growing the ancillary businesses.
So obviously when you work with Grand Hustle, it's a lot of various things, but there were a lot of music. And then, so what were some of the favorite music projects you worked on in any capacity when you were there? Is it mainly T.I. stuff when he was at his biggest?
Yeah, I did work on a few of the T.I. projects. T.I. versus T.I.P. Was a big one. Trouble Man was a big one that I worked on. But I think what sticks out to me, at that time he had a team. He was signed to a label. There are 15 plus people working on that. I really like that I was able to work with Big Country and his My Turn to Eat project that came out, and like really being hands on with that. He had a record with I think it was Trey Songz, The Baddest, which is a song that, I learned how to maneuver around clubs with the record, work the club in the record. So that was good. But also the standout is Ain't I with Young LA and Dro, which continues to transcend generations because everyone loves that song. So to really be able to work on that project hands on with no budget, like just everything starting from zero, Young LA being a person that knew how to rap, but, wasn't very familiar with the business, being there side by side with those guys and really working that record, taught me how to, go soup to nuts with things.
Yeah, you got that new artist experience going on.
Yeah.
Whereas T.I. was kind of like,
Yeah. And that really allowed me to have a profound love for working with emerging artists because they're just so raw. It's like working with your little cousin. You're like, listen, this is what I need you to do.
To listen to me.
Yeah, and you take them every step of the way, and I really enjoy that. You get to see them at the ground level.
So speaking of working with your little cousin, I know you transitioned to Culture Republic. That label was started with Jason, I think, Shaka Zulu, and shout out to Milo Smith. Was on the label, and I just want to talk a little bit more of that and the transitions working with Strawberry Roll. Like, what was some of your favorite projects during those transitions?
Some of the favorite projects, standout project would be Nick Grant, of course, because I think we were able to like really, again, it was emerging artists. He'd been around, he had a buzz, and just coming and being able to be all hands on deck with that and doing press runs and releasing projects, releasing vinyl, him going on tour with Nas. He's just a phenomenal artist, and I think the ability to be able to have a front row seat to him being introduced to the world in such a way that, was exposing him to so many people, especially hip hop enthusiasts. It was a joy to see, and, even watching him still do his thing now, I think that's, like you just kind of always feel a place in your heart for seeing that process. So I think that would be the standout for me.
Transitioning a little bit further into the music, tell us about your role in Young Miami and JT, the hip hop duo formerly known as City Girls' Act Up single.
Well, my music marketing and management company is called Judy Management Group. So under Judy Management Group, I manage a producer by the name of Earl On the Beat. And Earl On the Beat has had tremendous success with
Grammy
just
nomination?
yes, Grammy nominations.
So when we ready to drop our single,
Right.
you got the
We hired
you got the
Judy
producer
Management.
Judy Management Group, please
All
come
right.
on over, join the winning team.
Yeah.
So Earl is a producer that I manage under Judy Management Group, and he's had such successful records, but he produced Act Up in 2018, and that was something that came like, hey, we got this song, and he was like, all right, cool, and just to kind of see how that was able to grow. And at the time, I think JT was still in prison, and
That's crazy.
Young Miami was working it. So to just see how hard they worked that record, and obviously that was one of Earl's earliest, biggest records. I still enjoy hearing that when I'm out. It's just a nod to the start of his career, and he's gone on to continue to be, a chart-topping producer, number one producer. So
It's managed by you.
yes.
That's good. So listen, so going back now to talk a little bit about your brand, your clothing brand. You were able to work with do stuff with a coup, Hustle Gang, Strawberries Grow. So how did that influence your brand?
So
If you did.
yeah, it did. It did. I think everybody's story is unique, but I always feel like my story is unique because I was having an opportunity to travel the world with these artists, all across the country, Africa, Canada, so many other places. But to be able to come back to the west side of Atlanta in this office where all of these global ideas were being born it was such a beautiful thing to me. Me being from the west side of Atlanta, I always take pride in the fact that like I have a bit of duality. I went to North Atlanta High School in Buckhead, but then I come back to the west side, which is a lot more gritty.
Come back here to Buckhead.
That's where that came from. That was my first ACL shirt. So in my experience with traveling and watching everybody see, all eyes on Atlanta at the time because all of the artists are just huge. There was still a part of the story that was missing, and that's just like the story of a regular young Black woman and her journey, and what that story looks like. And so my idea about creating ATL really just being a lifestyle brand that again that supports my unique journey and my unique positioning in Atlanta, and still being like at the cornerstone of all of this entertainment industry, but still I'm very community oriented. So to be able to kind of illustrate that in terms of a brand, where there's clothing and there's home goods is something that it just felt near and dear to me. I obviously learned about branding by way of Grand Hustle and Jason, and just kind of having a front row seat to that. It was a no-brainer for me to figure out, let me take a stab at doing this myself. And I feel like anybody that's creative, to be able to have something outside of what you do full time to pour your creative energy into is always, fruitful. And I needed at the time. I realized I was doing so much servitude to all of the artists that I was working with, and people on the marketing side. It's always me supporting other people, but what does my creative, output look like? And so that's what it is.
That's the
That's what it
nugget
has
you gotta
been.
take
Right.
from her, because that's the truth. Because we give a lot to a job, to a
company,
to this, to that, and I think Black community we're raised to kind of go in, do a good job at the job now because you want to get recognized, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But they, your parents tell you work hard, go to work, don't complain. Give them 100%, and then you come home and what do you have?
Yeah, and what better way to like really be able to see exactly what you've learned and the fruits of your labor than to pour it into something that you truly love. So whether I try my hand at trying to sew and making clothes and all these things, but ultimately I figured out what my creative niche is, and I want to continue to like grow and evolve in that.
No, that's really great advice, because I think we all complain when we come home from that job and close that door. We're tired.
Yes.
Like we gave them all, and now what do we have for ourselves?
Yeah.
So you're building a legacy for yourselves and for other women, I think, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
So creatively, what is inspiring you professionally or personally?
You know what? Right now, I'm really inspired by Black stories, Black families, and Black people. So a lot of my research, I'm doing a lot of research on just like Southern Blackness, and just like understanding how lineages of families come together and, the evolution of them. I know now the popular phrase is we losing our recipes. Well, we are. We are losing our recipes because we're not studying the generations before us. So I think what's keeping me creatively stimulated, I've given myself a new title as archivist because I am the person in the family that has all of the photos. Everybody just gives them to me because I'm organized enough. Well, I'm not organized, but I'm organized enough. I'm organized enough to maintain them. So you can see around my house I have like photos of grandparents and other family members.
Yeah, it's so great to see that.
Yeah, but it's I'm inspired by just like thinking about what their stories were. We take for granted the fact that we're able to live a lot more freely in 2024, but it ain't always been like that. So the discovery of what these stories were I'm finding now is giving me a lot more purpose in terms of my creative projection.
What do you think has been the best piece of advice you've gotten? Being that you've been in all sectors kind of of the entertainment, what do you think was the best advice someone ever gave that actually made sense for you and what you wanted to do?
The best advice that I received was probably don't be afraid to explore all levels of your creativity. Like when I first started working in entertainment, I found that people would often say, "You all over the place. Yeah. You all over the place," and that scarred me for a long time because how can I tell a person, well, I'm a manager, I do marketing, I also am a creative advisor for this youth program, but I'm also this, and it's like wait. So oftentimes when I meet people, I just pick a role and I stick to that one role, knowing I got 5 more things that I'm doing on a daily basis. But I pick one. But it's always that voice in the back of my head that says, you're doing too much. But I've been debunking that over the years because that advice, don't be afraid to explore all the levels of your creativity, has really allowed me to evolve into the version of me that I am now, which is somebody that's not afraid to explore. And I think I needed that because I was withholding so many of the things that I felt like I had to contribute. But it's allowed me to not be afraid to try things. And another piece of advice I've heard from a astute business person is like fail fast. So, and I struggled with that for a long time because I'm like, what you mean? What you mean fail fast? Why do I fail fast? But it's more so just like, don't be afraid to pivot. If something is not working, pivot to the next thing, like don't spend too much time on something that isn't working. Figure it out. Reroute your plans for it. So those are 2 pieces of advice that I've learned, that I've received, and I kind of hold on to.
Those are gems.
They are pro tips. Like you can be multi-hyphenated talent.
Yeah.
You can explore those things. So what advice would you give to a new graduate or a newer professional about getting into the industry, whether that's pivoting in from somewhere else or starting brand new?
The music industry?
Music industry.
Cool. The advice I would give, it depends on what level, but on the executive side, the advice that I would give someone is to get around someone that you know and trust. Follow them, watch them, pay attention to them, shadow them. Don't come in asking for $2 to be paid when you first get in, because unfortunately, it's a business that requires a little upfront, put your time in on the front end before you really are able to yield the fruits of your labor. That's how it's always been. I don't know how it is now in terms of, companies, but from my understanding, it's really just go in and intern. You start from the bottom in the entertainment industry. So if it's something that you're really passionate about, you gotta be willing to do that, and people will see that quickly because that energy is so far and few these days. So to see someone that is so eager that they find ways, and that comes with working a full-time job and then saying, well, I got a few extra hours on this day. Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? That don't come with not working and being like, well, I need some money to do this. I'm like, well, this not gonna work for you. Because in music, as I'm sure as it is in entertainment, we're always trying to readjust ourselves to be able to make sure income wise things look the way they need to look. It's not very often unless you work for a label or a professional a corporate company that you don't get that check every 2 weeks. On the management side, if you're entrepreneur in music, you eat what you deal, and so it's really that. So really, it's just understanding coming in. You gotta be willing to see exactly how it all works and put that time in and show somebody that I have what it takes. I'm willing to learn. I observe well. I take direction well, and I have great problem solving skills.
That's really interesting, but I noticed a lot of younger people, they want it to happen fast. So
it looks fast on social media.
It looks fast on social media. So it's very hard for people to say, what can I do? Can I learn this? Can I learn that? Because everybody's like, but she didn't do that and she's blah, 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 blah. So I think it's a struggle for people. Yes. They want to do what your advice is, which is the way to do it. But a lot of people are like, I want it to happen fast.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, it's just not like that.
It's hard.
Tell the people. They don't believe. There's a lot of people think the stars already. They've already made it. Yeah. They've already made it. So going a little bit into music, this is more of a light question. If your life were a song, what would the title be?
Rhythm and Style.
Oh, you thought about that was quick.
That's my favorite song. Oh, yeah, it'll be Rhythm and Style. It's soulful, it's sultry, it's loving, it has purpose, it has meaning, and it's affirming.
All right, Kirsten. You too.
It's just the energy. It's just like
you too musical. Musical in your answers.
She's poetic.
You're poetic. I mean, girl.
We gotta switch it something a little different. Okay. So, have you ever done any projects that you hated from the start, but knew it would get you a lot of attention or notoriety in some way?
Okay, no. I can switch that though. Not that it would give me a lot of attention or notoriety, but that it would be a good thing to add to my portfolio. Yeah. And if I hated it, it's probably because I was working with an artist that I didn't agree with the subject matter or with the branding. And now, fortunately, I'm at a place in my career where I don't take on clients that I don't connect with. But yeah, if I hated it, it was because either I didn't see it for the project. Sometimes we come into things a little bit too overzealous. We come in a little bit too, unrealistic about the trajectory of it. So yeah, if I hated it, either A, I was working with an artist that I'm just like, I just hate the branding, but whatever, I gotta work with what I got. Or B, A and B wasn't equaling C to B, wasn't getting us to C, but I was trying to stick with it, Yeah.
Are there, like, you've been interviewed, we were lucky enough to get this woman here, but she's been interviewed by other people.
A ton.
And so there's a lot of information out here. But has there ever been a question that you wish someone would have asked you, but they never did? About your journey, about something that just stuck with you that you wish more people knew?
Yeah, you know what? It's really a personal tip that I talk about often. I lost my mom when I was 15. And so for, my journey hasn't been easy. I made it look easy, but it hasn't been easy navigating, without my compass, without my roadmap. And so I say that to say that there will be obstacles. Think everybody looks at other people and sees them as having it all together, or they have something more put together, or they have the resources to help them. Mm-hmm. I had to seek, relationships with people to be able to get what I felt like I was personally missing. And that's available to everyone. I think you have to really have your mind on what my goals and objectives are in order to be able to pull together the community of people that you need to get there. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what you're missing, whether you're missing, certain levels of intellectual, advancements, or you're missing, you have a disability, or you have, you know, you are a little bit older, you know, than most people are when they start their careers. They're pivoting at a later time. Find the tools in the community you need to support you so that you can get to the point of being able to be, you know, move forward in advance. So whatever the obstacles are behind you or in front of you, we can maneuver around those. It's not impossible.
I like it. That kind of plays into our tagline about getting in the industry. So you need to, whatever shortcomings you have, you need to seek them.
Yeah.
That's a way to get into the industry.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a song that you can listen to on repeat? We know that Rhythm and Sky is your favorite, but maybe currently, what is something that's inspiring you?
Currently inspiring me, but Distance. Yeah, but Distance.
That resonated with the producer.
Right.
The producer's getting the chills behind it.
Yeva's voice is just so good.
Yeva's Distance was about a breakup. You know, breaking up with her man, but she makes it sound so beautiful that you would have to think about, like, again, I'm always trying to see the beauty in something. Whatever's happening, you have to confront it in a way that best serves you and keep it moving. This is a beautiful breakup song, but you listen to it, you know, I feel like it just sticks to your bones a little bit. And it's so beautiful, it's so angelic, and that's the song that's been on repeat because it's calming. I need stuff that calm my energy.
After being out in the industry and it's stressing you.
Yeah. I'm like, it's too much energy out there. Like, when I come here, it's a calm place.
I'd love for you to give everybody who's watching or listening, how did you go about building and maintaining relationships with people in various industries where you felt like, oh, okay, I need to connect with this person? Because it's very hard for people to they don't know how to approach someone to make a connection. You think, and I've done it, Delia's done it, where you think you made a connection in a way and the person is not receiving it the same way. So how do you navigate that? Or what are some tips or things that can work for you?
I am admittedly a little socially awkward. So you got to know what you're working with. You know,
and a lot of people are, so that's why.
Yeah, if it's going to require me, if the personality is too big for me, then I got to figure out a way to subdue it. So I got to catch you not when you own, because everybody gets to these events at their own.
That's true.
When can I catch you when you off?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the best way that I've learned works. I got to catch you when you off. I got to run into you. I got to say hello. And not, you know, like over time, especially just kind of maneuver around different events, different cities, different places where everybody's gathering. Seeing people over and over again, and just a little, hey, how you doing? You know, good to see you. Don't be afraid to go up to somebody and speak to them. Because a lot of times we're waiting on people to come speak to us. If you want them to recognize your face or remember your face, I'm going to keep speaking to you. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I'm going to keep, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again. You know, that sort of thing. So I'm Kirsten. I'm not sure if you remember me. And
you Jedi mind tricking.
Yeah, I'm Kirsten. Not sure if you remember me.
I don't remember your face.
Yeah. Because I don't remember people all the time. So I try to make sure I give grace for that. So yeah, it's just go up to people, talk to them, try to catch them when they're a little bit off, if you can, and follow up. Now we have Instagram, social media. So you can, hey girl, yeah, that's cute. You know, you can do that if people build relationships on social media. Well, guess what? That's not me. I don't really do that. So I am better with IRL relationships because I got to be able to read your energy and feed off of it. I'm very good at being able to like, oh, you got an attitude tonight? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. You know,
another day. Yeah. Or I'll check you on.
Yeah, but I can kind of catch the rhythm, the pacing of it if we're in a person. So it's just about trying to connect with them, trying to say, you know, keep your face, keep your face in the place. You know, make sure that people are always, make sure people are always seeing you if you're trying to get on and establish relationships.
Yeah.
Send an email. Hey, you know, can I take you out for lunch or coffee or something?
People don't be afraid to do
that. And let me tell you something. If you're going to take somebody out, be on time and be ready to pay. Whatever. If they say, no, you can't take me out of coffee, you take me to Houston's, be ready to pay.
We love Houston.
Yeah.
Houston's our guy.
Yeah.
Houston's, we'd love a,
Yeah.
a collab, a partnership.
And also, when you're trying to connect with people, don't just be like me. If I'm asking you to take an hour out of your busy schedule to come and talk to me, I always feel like, what's the reciprocity in this? Like, is there a service that I offer that you may need? Let's this, not just, I need you to help me do this, and how can I get on, and how can I get to be where you are? No, it's like, well, do you need insight? Do you need support on this event that you're doing? Because I can help you with that. And that's how you get to know a person. Because they like, actually, I do need some help. That's how I started. I started is like, oh, you need something? I'm there. But I came from the spirit of assistance and internships, to where you was just always helping everybody. But that, me being a support for people, allowed me to build foundational relationships to where they could rely on me. And so I'm not saying that that works for everybody, but I'm saying try to connect with people in the way that they remember you and that you're not wasting your time.
I like it. Even with staying in the industry, I think that's a definitely a pro tip, that you show up with champagne, show up with service, with offering something versus just asking, give me.
Yeah, nobody. I don't have time. I can't make time in my schedule for that.
Right.
I got so many things that I'm working on, need to work on, creating calls, doing stuff personally and professionally. I got to leave my house, go to where you at, listen to you for an hour, probably longer, because you don't know when to stop the meeting. It's like,
people chatting,
people chatting, and that this whole time you want something from me that I can't give to you. There's no point. I never want to meet you again. Right. So it's just understanding the dynamic of like, what do you have to offer coming into this meeting? Not just what you need, but what can you also offer a person?
Genuinely listening to the other person, understanding who they are, doing the research on them.
Right.
That whole thing, so you can get that true interaction.
So as a creative entrepreneur, what would you say has been your biggest learning curve? Ooh. In the past or even currently?
Currently, I mean, in the past and currently, because I'm a person that I'll keep bumping my head. I'm gonna keep getting back up. The creative learning curve.
Yes.
Creative learning curve has been. I got some trauma associated with being independent, so learning how to work with people. Learning how to work with people. Yeah, it's not even fun. It's delegation. Oh. It's delegation, because if I ask you to do something, you're not doing it the way that I want you to do it, and that's no fault to them. That's all fault to me. But if you're not doing the way I would like for you to do it, or if it's not getting done right, I feel like I'm wasting time, because I could have just done it, and now I'm coaching you to do it, and I'm taking time.
Yes. I'm glad you recognize.
You're very quick to say yes, but
Delegating. Yeah. But people that are used to being able to do a lot,
and multi-talented people, right?
Multi-talented.
Don't clean it up.
Oh, she didn't clean it up.
That ain't clean up. You need to clean up on this.
She got beef with us. It's okay.
Look, y'all are the talented ones. I'm like the little business person. Sorry.
It's okay.
She swept that up in a little tiny corner.
No. But yeah, it's the delegation. That's definitely a creative learning curve. And also, something I'm learning now is understanding about business 101, to be honest. Like, I've always operated with the creative, with leading with creativity. And so now, like, in terms of like structuring the business, I'm having to do a lot of research to like understand. People say to me, "You don't have to do it all by yourself," and I'm like, "Well, who's gonna help me? How is it gonna get done? Or investing in certain things. I invest with my pockets first. I've not yet learned how to go out and raise money on my own, or get investment. So I'm learning those things as I go, and I've been at it for a long time. I'm still learning, and I'm not afraid to admit that, because it takes honesty within yourself to understand like the things that you need to change. So I'm working on some stuff that I need help with.
You know what? So because you're not, she's not a Grady baby, she's a Piedmont baby, and you're so entrenched in. I'm a East Coast. Well, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, but I do admire people from Atlanta. I think they have great qualities and insights and creativity. what are your top 3 to 5 qualities you think that Atlanta natives have that's in their creative DNA that makes them winners? Because everybody, I mean, I'm going to admit it for the New Yorkers, y'all took over hip hop now, and we out here. New York is at the window looking, but y'all are out here creativity, different with fashion. So, what do you think are the qualities that make people from here so successful?
I think it's the hustle. It's the hustle. You gotta think.
Considering it's the South, too.
We're coming from the South. You know, you had to figure out how to make things straight. You got to figure out how to make ends meet on your own, or you won't eat. So it's the hustle. It's just basically, you know, by any means necessary mentality. It's also the Southern hospitality, because people from the South can be very charming in how they need to get things done. Whether or not that extends itself to being a scammer, or it extends
not the
you
scam.
know,
We was going to skip over the scam.
you know, but that's how scamming happens. It's a lot of times through charming, you know, being charming. So whatever the end of the spectrum, yeah, it's the finesse, and I think that is something that comes into play is, you know, just the hospitality and being charming. And the third thing is the fact that we've seen so many blueprints for Black leadership and Black excellence in the city of Atlanta, it being the home of the civil rights movement. We've had examples in our families and throughout our lives. We've seen our grandparents, you know, work for Georgia Power for 60 years, you know, or build the houses here brick by brick. We've seen Black women, a lot of Black women in my neighborhood retired that supported the school system for so long. You've seen these examples, and so it allows it to be something that's very plausible to experience itself.
No, those are great reasons, and I can see that in the culture. You can see that with people who have ascended. It's really in y'all DNA for real, for real. It's generational.
So one of our primary motto for Honesty in Media, and it's threaded through DNA Talks as well, is, you know, we want to support people get in, stay in, and thrive in the entertainment industry. So what would be some advice you would give for someone trying to enter into any creative space? How do they get in? How do they stay in? How do they thrive?
How do you get in? You get in by just doing. You gotta do. You gotta do. You gotta socialize. You know, your product is only as good as, you know, people being able to see it. If you got a monument that you're building in your home and nobody can come and experience it, you know, what good is it? So building something, socializing with people, letting them know I have this thing, even collaborating with other people, whether that is on the business side or other creativity on the creative side. Making sure that you're continuously letting people know what you're doing and how you're doing it, putting it out there for people to see and experience. That's how they get in. How do they stay in? Consistency. You stay in through consistency. You have to keep doing it because you don't start anything with a masterpiece. I think that you tweak. I always say, anytime you start anything, that thing traditionally, it never is when you start as it is when you get to your height of it, or, you know, maybe at the end. Everything takes shape. Everything takes form. So being able to get in there and continuously do a thing to build it to the place where it should be, what it's supposed to become, is what keeps you there. Because now it's like, okay, well, I started with one piece of wood, but now I'm actually building, you know, I'm building these swing sets for people, or I'm building furniture, you know, so now I have a salvage shop, and, you know, now I sell to freaking stadiums, you know what I mean? So it's like you start with one piece of something and you continue to do it, and it evolves as you socialize, as you have some consistency in practicing your craft. And how do you thrive? You thrive by then allowing people to come in and support you, you know, like by whether you have a business expert to help you take it to the next level, whether you partner with a supplier company to be able to, you know, reduce your costs, or to provide you with different supplies that will help you improve the quality of your product, but whatever that looks like, I think being able to work with other people and bring in others to help you take it to the next level is how you thrive. See, you should take notes, partner.
Listen, we recorded it. That's all the notes I needed. I'm gonna watch it back. But we want to thank you for spending the time with us. You gave us some nuggets. But before we wrap everything up, what should people be looking out for from you with the brand, with people you're managing? Tell everybody what's the next 6 months to a year looking like as far as projects that you're willing to tell us the tea.
Okay, the next 6 months to a year, I'd say I'll start with Judy Management. Judy Management, I'm looking to work and collab with other creatives. I'm very specific about what that talent looks like and what the personality types of those people are. But I would love to work with people who are as awesome as my current client is, Earl. I would love to work with people who are just as awesome as he is. And us continue to grow. You know, we've done really well in the past few years, and I look forward to that continuing and just being able to continue to grow and evolve with him as an artist, as a producer, as a DJ, as a talent. With the ATL side, I'm working now. I don't know when this is going to be released, but I'm working now with Atlanta Art Contemporary Center to have a pop-up residency there for a while. So yeah, so I
you're releasing pop-up.
Yes. Thank you. That was really cool for Art Party ATL. So I'll be working with them for a while, activating. I'll start to get back more of my creative bag with the activations, and yeah, I'll start to put more product out. I've taken breaks. I'm gonna be honest, because that brand is such like a side hustle, but it's how I improve my creativity and how I release that creativity. It's taking its pauses when things, on my career side have started to grow and move faster. I've had to put it in the back seat, but I'm really looking forward to spending more time with it. I have a lot of great plans for it. I have a lot of good concepts and products for it. And just, again, partnering with communities and people and media companies and, people to kind of, just working with people to help me also get my ideas out a little bit more. It's that third thing about thriving. That third part about thriving, partnering with people, helping the ideas to be able to grow and flourish. So I'm really looking forward to that and spending more time with my little baby ATL this year in the next few years, and just prepare for a lot of cool things to come.
It's coming.
Excellent. Thank you again for joining us.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a joy and pleasure to watch you guys start this baby and then keep it moving. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you beautiful women continue to grow and evolve with Onyx DNA. Thank you for that.
Thank you.